Some people believe love arrives with fireworks. Others believe it's written in the stars, but sometimes love simply shows up in the wrong paper bag. Every Friday, after surviving another exhausting week of freelance work, Maya rewarded herself with one simple tradition. She ordered dinner from her favorite dumpling restaurant, curled up by the window of her cozy apartment, and enjoyed a quiet evening with good food and an old movie. It was her little celebration for making it through another week. One Friday evening, the doorbell rang as usual. Maya rushed to the door with a smile, already imagining the first bite of her favorite dumplings. But when she opened the delivery bag, she froze. Instead of dumplings, she found a tray of homemade lasagna, warm garlic bread, and a slice of rich chocolate cake. She blinked twice. I definitely didn't order this. Before she could call the delivery company, someone knocked on her door. Standing outside was a tall young man holding a bag that smelled unmistakably like dumplings. He smiled awkwardly and lifted the bag. "I think we're having each other's dinner." Maya looked at the dumplings, then at the stranger, then back at the lasagna. "So, you're the lasagna guy," he laughed. "And you're the dumpling thief." She couldn't help smiling. That was the first time Maya met Noah. The next Friday, it happened again. Another wrong delivery. This time, neither of them looked surprised. They simply laughed, exchanged the bags, and stood in the hallway talking for a few extra minutes. "What did you order this time?" Maya asked. "Sushi," Noah replied. "And you?" "Dumplings," he smiled. "You really don't like change, do you?" "I know what makes me happy." He looked at the bag in his hand and grinned. "I can respect that." The strange little accidents kept happening every Friday. Sometimes it was pasta instead of noodles. Sometimes burgers instead of ramen. Sometimes desserts that neither of them remembered ordering. Soon, the hallway conversations became part of their weekly routine. One Friday, Maya decided to bake cookies as a thank you. She proudly handed Noah a small paper bag. "I made these myself." He took one bite. There was a long silence. Maya stared nervously. "They're terrible, aren't they?" Noah swallowed slowly. "No," he smiled politely. "They're confident." She frowned. "Confident? They're so burnt, they've developed personalities." For a second, she stared at him. Then, she burst into laughter so loudly that Noah laughed too. It was the first time either of them had laughed that hard in weeks. After that, something changed. Even when the deliveries were correct, they found excuses to stay connected. One Friday, Noah slipped a handwritten note into Maya's delivery bag. "Best bakery in town. Trust me." The next week, Maya left him a tiny sketch of a smiling dumpling wearing a chef's hat. Underneath, she wrote, "Still waiting for cookies that aren't confident." Every Friday became a tiny surprise. A funny drawing, a restaurant recommendation, a handwritten joke, a new dessert to try. Neither of them ever admitted it, but Friday slowly became the favorite day of the week. Not because of the food, because they knew they'd see each other. Then, suddenly, everything stopped. One Friday, there was no mix-up, no note, no conversation. The next Friday was the same. Maya stood at her apartment door, holding her untouched dinner. Maybe he moved away. Maybe he got tired of these silly little traditions. Across the courtyard, Noah stood by his own window, thinking exactly the same thing. Neither realized that the old delivery driver had retired. The new driver simply delivered every order correctly. Weeks passed. Life became strangely quiet. Then, one sunny weekend, the city hosted its annual food festival. Food stalls lined every street. Music filled the air, children laughed, and every corner smelled of fresh bread, grilled vegetables, sweet pastries, and spices from around the world. Maya wandered through the festival, carrying far too many plates. Just as she turned a corner, she crashed straight into someone. Dumplings flew one way, pasta flew the other. Sauce landed on both of them. "Oh no, I'm so sorry." She looked up. "Noah?" He looked just as surprised. "Maya?" For one silent second, they stared at each other, and they both started. Only the two of them could reunite by throwing dinner into the air. Before they could clean themselves up, an excited festival host rushed over. "Perfect! We need one more team for our couples cooking competition." They answered at exactly the same time. "We're not a couple," the host. "Those are always the best teams." Before they could protest, matching aprons were hanging around their necks. The competition began. It was complete chaos. Noah somehow confused honey with cooking oil. Maya added salt twice. He cut vegetables painfully slowly. She almost dropped an entire bowl of flour, covering both of them in white powder. The audience couldn't stop. The judges smiled more than they tasted the food. Instead of trying to create something fancy, Maya suddenly had an idea. She looked at Noah. "What if we make the very first meal we accidentally exchanged?" His eyes lit up. "Lasagna with dumplings," she finished. Everyone, when the dish reached the judges. It sounded ridiculous. It looked unusual. But after the first bite, the judges stopped smiling. Not because it was bad, because it was unexpectedly wonderful. The dish won first place. One judge smiled and asked, "What inspired this recipe?" Noah looked at Maya before answering, "The best mistake we've ever made." As the celebration continued, an elderly man slowly walked toward them. Maya recognized him immediately. He was the original delivery driver. She smiled. "So, you really did keep mixing up our orders every Friday?" The old man. "Only the first time." Both of them looked confused. He continued with a mischievous smile. "After that, I noticed something. You both smiled every Friday. So I thought, some deliveries deserve a little help." Noah. "You switched our orders on purpose?" The old man simply shrugged. "I've delivered food for 30 years. I've learned something. Sometimes people order dinner." He looked at Maya and Noah standing side by side. "And sometimes life delivers exactly who you've been hungry for." With that, he tipped his cap, smiled one last time, and disappeared. Following Friday, Maya heard another knock on her apartment door. She opened it with a smile. There was no delivery bag, only Noah. He held 2 empty lunchboxes. She raised an eyebrow. "So, where's dinner?" He smiled nervously. "I was thinking, maybe this Friday? We cook together instead." Maya looked at him for a moment before pretending to think very seriously. "Only if you're making the lasagna." He. "Only if you're bringing the dumplings." For the first time, they weren't waiting for the wrong delivery. They were walking toward the right beginning. Sometimes, the greatest love stories don't begin with grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes, they begin with someone else's dinner, and somehow, that turns out to be exactly what your heart ordered.